Hi, I'm Andie. I'm with the Oakland Public Education Fund, and today I will be reading to you Stand Up Yumi Chung by Jessica Kim. Jessica Kim writes about Asian American girls finding their way in the world. Before she was an author, Jessica studied education at UC Berkeley, just up the street, and spent 10 years teaching 3rd, 4th, and 5th grades in public schools. Like Yumi, Jessica lives with her family in Southern California and can't get enough hot Cheetos, stand-up comedy, BTS, and Korean barbecue. You hear that? Jessica Kim is Army. The moment the restaurant door opens, I'm met with the familiar hum of activity and the aroma of just grilled meat. I wave my hand to clear the haze that lingers in the air, but it's no use. Barbecue smoke is no joke. Our restaurant is the only one in town that still uses charcoal grills. Even though everyone else has switched to the cleaner gas or electric ones, Dad refuses to change. He's convinced real charcoal imparts the most traditional taste. Which is why my clothes, no matter how many times I wash them, smell like a campfire. It's also earned me the nickname You Meat. Yep, because every 6th grader at Winston Academy dreams of being known as the new girl who smells like barbecue. I'll never forgive Tommy Molina for starting that. Go help your dad in the kitchen, Mom says, tying on her apron, the straps bedazzled with rhinestones. We have a short staff today for lunch rush. Okay, let me check my email first. That and Jasmine Jasper's new vlog is supposed to be up today. She shoots me a knowing glance. Don't spend too much time on the computer. 5 minutes, I promise. Our restaurant office doubles as our living room away from home. It's got a couch, coffee table, computer, even a shiatsu foot massager. We probably spend more time here than in our living room at home. I'm surprised to find my big sister behind the computer. Hey, Yums, she says to me. Yuri! I wrap my arms around her in a bone-crushing hug. I haven't seen her as much since she moved across town for medical school last fall. Before then, I could count on catching her at the restaurant or at home taking care of me. She's always been like my third cool parent. The house and restaurant have felt so empty without her. What are you doing here? Dad needed some technical assistance with the computer. He wants me to add an online reservation option to the website. Why? It's not like it's hard to get a table here. She shrugs. You know how Dad gets with his big ideas. I glance at the wall of indecipherable code on the monitor. Wow, that's pretty intense. You're telling me all this needs to be updated. I was supposed to leave an hour ago. She cleanses at my hair. Cute perm, by the way. I scrunch my nose, remembering the atrocity atop my head. Don't lie, I look like a wet poodle. I run my fingers through the spiral strands, but it only makes it frizz up more. Just watch, Tommy Molina is going to have a field day coming up with nasty names for me when school starts. Between You Meat, Wet Poodle, and Top Ramen, he's got enough material for a Netflix special. Don't let that little punk get under your skin, she tousles my hair. Besides, it'll loosen up before then. It better. I sit on the edge of the desk. Actually, it'd be better if I never have to go back to Winston ever again. Aw, Yumi. My sister squeezes my wrist. Maybe this year will be different. Maybe you'll make some new friends? Not likely. Long before I transferred in, everyone at my fancy private school had already settled into impenetrable cliques of friends they've known since kindergarten. Not that I'd be included even if I were around back then. Hearing them talk about the stuff they do together on weekends at the country club makes me feel like we're from different planets. Like the time Alexis and Avery were gushing about an equestrian competition and I jumped in with, Quest, I love that board game. I didn't win many popularity points with that one. I've concluded that I'm better off keeping my mouth shut instead of trying to fit in where I don't belong. It's just easier. You already smooths my hair. You never know. New year, new possibilities. New bullies? She laughs. Just be yourself and everything will come together on its own. If only it could be that simple. Right then, Dad pops his head into the room. How's website? Is it working? Almost done. Yuri clicks through the screens. I just have to add one more plugin. Good, he says, watching my sister code. This is what we need to bring in the customers. Doubtful. It's going to take a whole lot more than a dinky online reservation button for that to happen, but I don't want to burst his bubble. Dad turns to me. Yumi, I need your help. Bring the banchan to table 3. We are getting the slam. The slam. That's Dad's rendition of the phrase, we're getting slammed. Sure. I guess Jasmine's vlog will have to wait until later. Can you help? After you finish with website, he asks Yuri. Until end of service? Yes, Yuri says without looking up, her fingers flying across the keyboard. When I walk into the kitchen, Manuel, our restaurant's main cook, greets me with a big smile. Someone got her hair done. You look great, Cipota. Really? I feel like I'm 5 years old. I groan, pulling on my apron. How am I supposed to go to middle school with this? I fluff the sides of the frizzy cloud that is now my hair. If anyone gives you trouble about your hair, he flexes his muscles. Show them your guns. Let them know they can't mess with you. Yeah, right. I snort as I wash my hands in the sink. For the 10 years Manuel's been working here, he's always said stuff like that. It's really silly, but if I'm being honest, it's nice to have someone who encourages you to stand up for yourself. In my case, it's the Salvadoran head cook for my parents' restaurant. I open the lid of one of the pots on the stove and take a big whiff. Smells great. You know, it's just a little sundubu, kimchi jjigae, solongtang, and 2 orders of my famous doenjang jjigae, he says with a better Korean accent than mine. Mashigete. It truly looks delicious. Manuel can cook anything. His pupusas are just as legendary as the Korean dishes Mom taught him. You know it. He tosses soft tofu into the bubbly red stew and gives it a sprinkle of fresh green onion for garnish before sending it out to the pass. How did your granddaughter's birthday go the other day? I ask him. Good. Sophia wanted something low-key, so we ended up having some people over for pollo campero and cake. A little mermaid one. It was chill. Something pops into my head. Ooh, that reminds me of a joke. Let's hear it. How are parents like broken refrigerators? I give up. How? They're loud, inconsistent, and have no chill, I say, barely containing my giggles. Manuel lets loose the best kind of whole body laugh. No chill. He throws his head back and holds his belly with both hands. Burn. Thanks. He's one of the few people I feel comfortable telling my jokes to because he's always honest with his feedback. Don't be too hard on your mom and pops, though. They're coming from a good place. He's still laughing as he piles the tiny side dishes of cubed radish, sesame bean sprouts, black beans, and marinated spinach onto a giant platter. Listen, you better get this banchan out there before the customers start complaining. Right. I haul the platter up onto my shoulder and balance it the best I can. I got this. I flex my biceps, which is just about as thick as a chopstick. Atta girl, he chuckles, flexing his arm right back at me. Keep working on those jokes, Yumi, he shouts before going back to tend to the 5 pots of soup boiling on the stove. I'm heading out to the dining area when Yuri pops out from behind the faded embroidered folding screen carrying 2 water pitchers. Mom is already at table 3 greeting the bespectacled middle-aged man sitting with his family. How are you, Mr. Lee? She collects the clunky leather-bound menus from the table. Mrs. Lee, did you change your hair? This color looks so stylish on you. Samuel, I heard that you got first chair in your orchestra. Congratulations. After being in business at the same location for 15 years, Mom knows all the regulars by name. Somehow she also remembers their favorite entrees, preferred spice levels, tipping patterns, and if they happen to have any eligible bachelors in the family. These days, the Lee family and a small handful of other loyal diners are the only people I ever see at the restaurant. You remember our daughters. Mom rests her hands on Yuri's shoulders. Girls, insa to our guests. 안녕하세요. We greet them with our heads bowed. Mr. Lee sets a spoon down. They are more beautiful each time we see them. Beauty is not everything. Mom clucks her tongue in loud whispers to Mrs. Lee. I'm afraid Yuri will never get married. She tosses her head with disdain. She still has no boyfriend. Yuri's porcelain skin flushes bright pink. You'd think we'd have grown immune to this stuff by now, but nope, it's still mortifying each time. Mrs. Lee chuckles. Mrs. Chung, your daughter is still a student. Why are you worried already? A faux concerned expression cloaks Mom's face. She cannot meet any nice boys because she's always studying. Mom sighs dramatically, clutching the pendant hanging from her necklace. So difficult to be the youngest student at the UCLA Medical School. Mrs. Lee's spoon clinks, hitting the side of her dulcet bowl. Medical school already? I thought she was in high school, she says, like Yuri isn't standing right there. Mr. Lee grunts. Looks like a teenager. Dad dashes over, nearly knocking the traditional wooden masks from the wall. He must have sensed there was a brag session going on. Mr. Lee, Yuri is not a teenager anymore. He pauses. She is 20 years old. Skipped 2 grades and graduated from the university early, he adds, injecting himself into the conversation. I swear my sister is like his own living, breathing trophy. Mr. Lee indulges Dad. Wow, so smart. She finished her studies 2 years early. Dad swats at the air, feigning modesty like they're talking about him. Did you hear that, son? Mrs. Lee elbows her teenaged son. Yuri's face is now redder than the raw meat on the grill. The boy looks up through his long bangs. What? Wait for it. If you study hard like her, you can be a success too, Mr. Lee says. Ha! If I had $1 for every time my parents told me that, I'd be able to buy our family a second restaurant. Then Mom gestures to me. Do you remember our second daughter, Yumi? Ugh! They're all looking at me. I grab the pitcher and top off the already full water cups on the table, trying hard to ignore Mrs. Lee's eyes roaming up and down, evaluating my every molecule. She squints, probably struggling to come up with a compliment. Your younger daughter is so tall. Sad. That's the best thing she can come up with. I'm not even that tall. I grab the metal tongs and flip the meat on the grill, avoiding all eye contact, hoping they'll change the subject. You know, our Yumi is so shy and quiet. We don't know what to do with her. She did not even tell us when she won the academic scholarship to Winston Academy in Beverly Hills, Mom says unblinkingly. I nearly give myself whiplash. Mom, what the heck? She smiles at them with her fake no-teeth grin, willfully ignoring my silent outrage. Yuri snickers behind me. My mother has been known to stretch the truth to make us look good. Like the time she complained to everyone at the restaurant about how difficult it was to find a costume after I was hand-picked to sing the solo in my first grade Christmas pageant. She sings like an angel, just like her father, she told everyone. In truth, I was assigned the humble role of wise man number 2, with no speaking parts whatsoever, much less a solo. You are blessed, 2 obedient and smart daughters. My son here is so lazy, he never studies. All he ever wants to do is play his violin. Mr. Lee knocks his knuckles on his son's scalp. Last week he told me he needs money to fly to New York to perform with his orchestra. Carnegie Hall or something. I tell him, what about your studies? So it begins. For the next good while, they go back and forth, one-upping each other with their humble brags. Someone get me a barf bag. If only my parents were proud of me for the things I can actually do. And that was chapter 2 of Stand Up Yumi Chung by Jessica Kim. If you want to learn more about Yumi Chung and her story, make sure you check this book out. Thanks for joining me.